You know that text? Hey, can I come over this weekend? And your whole body just tightens. Not because you don't like them, not because you're antisocial, but because something deeper, something you might not even have words for yet, just activated. If that's you, this video is going to feel like someone finally reading your mind, because the psychology behind hating visitors in your home goes way deeper than you think. It touches your environment, your identity, your childhood, and even something you might not be ready to look at yet. This isn't a quirk, it's a system. And today, we're going to unpack what's really going on, starting with the thing you already know but never had words for. Let's start with something deceptively simple. Your home isn't just a building, it's a carefully calibrated environment. The temperature, the lighting, the exact angle of your couch cushions. You've spent months, maybe years, turning this space into an extension of your nervous system. Psychologist Kaplan called this restorative environment, a space that replenishes your mental energy just by existing in it. Now imagine someone walks in and moves your throw pillow. Suddenly, your brain isn't resting, it's working. Because hosting isn't just having someone over, it's project management with a smile. You're tracking conversations while monitoring the kitchen timer. You're remembering beverage preferences of people you barely know. You're performing a real-time audit of every surface in your home through someone else's eyes. Psychologist Baumeister calls this ego depletion, the idea that every decision, every social calculation, every act of self-regulation drains from the same limited tank of mental fuel. And hosting? It empties that tank before the appetizers hit the table. Your home isn't decoration, it's your operating system, and hosting is like running 7,000 background apps at once, while smiling. It's not laziness, it's a full-scale logistics operation happening entirely inside your head. Here's the thing nobody talks about. Your home is your backstage, the version of you that exists when nobody's watching. Pajamas at 2 p.m., dishes from 3 days ago, that weird snack combination you'd never admit to in public. Sociologist Goffman called this your backstage self, the unfiltered, unperformed version of who you actually are. And your home is where that self lives. The moment guests walk in, curtain up. Suddenly, every choice you've ever made is on display. Your bookshelf is a personality test. Your fridge is a lifestyle audit. That one weird stain on the ceiling, it now has a story you need to invent. You're not just hosting, you're the lead actor, the director, and the audience manager all rolled into one anxious production. It requires what Brené Brown calls vulnerability, uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Your sanctuary just became a stage. And social media has made this 10 times worse. You're not comparing your home to your neighbor's anymore. You're comparing your behind the scenes with everyone's highlight reel. Pinterest tablescapes, aesthetic charcuterie boards, candid laughter that took 3 takes to photograph. Now even inviting someone over for coffee feels like it needs a production budget. You're not controlling. You're performing on a stage you never auditioned for. Now here's where it gets primal. Environmental psychologist Altman spent decades studying something most of us feel but never name. He called it privacy regulation, the fundamental human need to control who enters your space, when, and for how long. Your home isn't just where you live, it's your kingdom, and kingdoms have borders for a reason. Think about that. You decide who gets in, you decide when, you decide the terms, and the moment someone bypasses that, even with the best intentions, something ancient in you fires up. And here's the thing, this isn't a modern personality quirk. Your ancestors survived not by opening their cave to everyone who wandered by. They survived by being selective about who got close to their resources, their family, their fire. That instinct, it's still running in your operating system. Thousands of years of evolution don't just disappear because society decided that being hospitable is polite. It's not a personality flaw. It's an ancient alarm system that kept your ancestors alive. But for some of you, this goes even deeper than instinct. Psychologist Carol Reif identified environmental mastery as one of 6 pillars of psychological well-being, the ability to shape your surroundings to match your mental needs. And when guests arrive, that mastery evaporates. Their voice changes the acoustics, their movement disrupts your spatial awareness, their presence shifts the temperature, the energy, the rhythm of a space you've spent years perfecting. You're not worried about the mess, you're grieving the temporary death of your baseline. It's like someone rearranging the furniture inside your nervous system without asking.
For some of you, this goes even deeper, and you might already know where I'm going. Maybe you grew up in a home where guests meant chaos, mom scrambling to clean, dad stressed about the mess, your room, your one safe corner, suddenly invaded by strangers' kids who didn't care about your things the way you did. The noise, the unpredictability, the loss of control over your only sanctuary. What psychologist John Bowlby called a secure base, a stable, predictable environment where a child feels safe enough to explore the world, that might have been disrupted every single time the doorbell rang. Your home now, it might be the first space in your entire life that's truly, completely yours. And the thought of someone disrupting that again, even someone you love, hits a nerve you didn't know was still exposed. You're not overreacting, you're remembering. And if that recognition hits close to home, hold on to it, because we're not done yet. Here's something people rarely think about. When you meet someone at a cafe, a park, a restaurant, you have an exit strategy. You can leave, fake an emergency, do the Irish goodbye. Nobody gets hurt. But when they're in your home, you can't Irish goodbye your own living room. You're stuck, present, hosting, smiling, in the one place you're supposed to be completely off duty. And then there's the pop-in, the person who shows up unannounced and just obliterates every boundary you had. No mental preparation, no cleanup window, no consent. Your carefully maintained sanctuary ambushed. And no, it's not rude to not answer the door. That's not a wall. That's a perfectly reasonable boundary. It's not antisocial to need a heads up. It's called consent. But here's the uncomfortable truth, and I need you to sit with this for a second. Everything I just said is real. The psychology, the instincts, the childhood wiring, all of it is valid. But I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't ask this. Are you protecting your peace, or are you avoiding connection entirely? Because there's a difference. Setting boundaries because you value your energy, that's healthy. That's everything we just talked about. But if the thought of anyone entering your space fills you with dread, not inconvenience, but dread, that might not be protection anymore. That might be isolation wearing a mask. Remember what Brené Brown said? Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the willingness to show up when you can't control the outcome. Choosing to be alone is freedom. Hiding from connection is a cage. Only you know which one it is. So where does that leave you? So the next time you get that text, hey, can I come over, and your whole body tightens, now you know what's happening. It's not one thing. It's your environment, your identity, your instincts, and maybe even your earliest memories all firing at once. You're not selfish, you're self-aware, and that's the first step to choosing what kind of space you want to build and who you want to share it with. If this gave you words for something you've always felt, leave a like. And if you want more psychology like this, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of your space.